Hello, and welcome to our podcast.
That's right. It's another one of these.
Hello, we are back. My name is Hannah.
My name's Donovan.
And this is My Thing, Your Thing. And this week it's one of my things.
Yeah, and in fact, it's a thing I know literally nothing about.
So this week we are talking about the 2005 noir movie Brick, which I watched in high school and was massively influential on me. A little bit, like, poking fun at myself. It was the movie that it was like, oh, I'm so, like, cool and auteur because I like this obscure underground indie movie, Brick. It's a very good movie, I will say that.
Well, I hope so.
So, it came out in 2005. It is a noir movie, but it is set in a, at the time, contemporary California high school.
Okay.
So everybody looks like they're from, like, 2005 high school students, but they all talk like they're gangsters from the 30s.
Okay.
Yeah. This movie was directed by Rian Johnson.
Oh, yeah. The famous Rian Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of Knives Out, Glass Onion, and Star Wars Episode 8 fame.
Yes, fame, and not infame.
Well, you know. This was the first feature-length film that he made.
I see.
Like, the first movie that he made. So he said at the time that he was obsessed with early detective novels, like Dashiell Hammett, which, little side note, one of my other favorite artists, Doc Hammer, was also obsessed with Dashiell Hammett.
Yeah.
Which you can see in that one noir episode of Venture
Brothers.
Bros.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a really good one.
That's a very good one. Yeah. And so, like, that was very highly influential to his work. So, like, because he read so many of those books, he really had, like, the patter down. And when they were doing this movie, he encouraged all of the actors to also read a bunch of Dashiell Hammett so that they could, like, better understand the characters.
No,
that
that's great.
them.
That's great.
So apparently he wrote the script in 1997 and shopped it around for, like, 7 years, but he couldn't get anyone to take on the project because it was a weird neo-noir movie set in high school, and he was a first-time director.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a hard sell.
Yeah. So eventually...
So he wrote it himself.
He wrote it himself. He's directing it himself.
Okay.
And he ended up raising all of the money himself because no one would give him money for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so eventually he calculated the smallest amount of money that he could use to make the movie and came up with a figure of $450,000. So he made this movie for $450,000.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we're talking like Blair Witch Project amounts of money.
Yes.
Like
he, according to some articles that I read, he asked, like, family and friends for help financing this movie, and, like, some of his family is on, like, contracting work.
Sure.
And so they gave him, like, the first, I don't know how much, but, like, a fairly significant amount of money. And so then when he was like, I already have this much, I only need this much more, there were, like, other people that he knew that were like, yeah, we'll help you make your little picture movie.
Yeah. Picture movie.
So
one of the moving pictures.
One of the moving pictures. So they made this movie for $450,000, and when it went out, it wasn't like stupid massively successul, as evidenced by the fact that you have no idea what we're talking about.
I sure don't.
But the movie grossed almost $4 million.
I mean, yeah, that's a good return on your investment.
Yeah. This is one of those movies that did really good in, like, the DVD market afterwards.
Sure.
Which is not a thing that we really have anymore because everything is streaming.
Yeah. And we know at least one person who bought that DVD.
It was me.
Yeah, because we're going to use it.
Actually, I think this was my older sister who bought it.
Oh.
And then when she left Ohio to go live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, she split up her DVD collection, and I got this one in the divorce.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, my little sister got Mean Girls, and I got Brick.
I mean, it's a lot easier to find a Mean Girls DVD than a Brick DVD, I think.
This is true,
yeah.
and everybody quotes Mean Girls, and very few people quote Brick, except for me. I used to do that a lot, and I haven't watched this movie for a while, so I don't remember any of the lines.
Well, maybe we will after this.
Yeah, wait for me to be absolutely insufferable this next week. I want to talk about critical reception, like, afterwards.
Yes, please.
But this movie did win several film festival awards.
Yeah.
Including Sundance's Special Jury Prize Dramatic for Originality of Vision and 2 awards from the Central Ohio Film Critics Association.
Hey!
That's us here!
So, yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Columbus looked at this movie and was like, yeah, this is great. Why is nobody else talking about this?
Well, we do have like a couple of film festivals
Yeah.
here, and I think I don't know if it's that one or there's another one that's been around like for longer than like Sundance or any of them, because it started as like an instructional film award, and then they like extended it to like all films. So that's still around. Someone actually said that I should apply to be a like one of the jury panelists for it, and I did, and I never heard back. I'm not a big enough name.
I mean, yeah, well, we should go to one of them and do a podcast episode where we talk about it.
I mean, like, I was going to say we're members of Gateway, but currently we're not because I can't pay for it. But I was going to say they do have the film festivals at Gateway, and you can get, like, you can just go see a bunch of films.
Oh, that's rad. That's rad. We should do that.
Way down.
So I haven't watched this movie for several years, but this was like a core memory for me. I definitely watched this over the summer. This came out in 2005. I definitely watched it at least like summer 2006 with my sisters.
Yeah. So you were like in high school at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure my cousin brought it because she was always the one who like knew all of the cool TV show. Like she's the one who introduced us to like Veronica Mars and Pushing Daisies and Wonderfalls and like all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure like she brought it over and we all watched it and was immediately like, this is the best movie that has ever been made.
Yeah. Quirky hipster shit.
We're so cool for knowing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so later my older sister bought the DVD and it became a movie that we watched like pretty regularly.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm very excited to share this with you.
When you said we were going to do an episode about this, everything else you've talked about with me was something that I at least had some idea about. I had literally never heard anybody talk about this movie before now, and I have absolutely no idea what to expect. Like, that's basically where I'm at right now, which is kind of amazing. To just not have any cultural like osmosis for this at all.
I am very excited to share this, and I really hope that other people will like go seek this movie out as well.
Yeah,
because it's a good movie, and it's been a little bit like forgotten. You can rent it from like Apple TV, YouTube, Google Play, and Microsoft for $4. If you want to spend $4, I definitely recommend it. If you perhaps are more of the seafaring person, get it and burn DVDs and send it around to your friends.
Yeah, go check out your local half-price books, see if it's in the clearance bin.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna watch this movie.
Cool. Yeah. Very little preamble. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, I mean, like I really like this movie. There's not a whole lot to talk about right now, and I mostly want to know what you think about afterwards. And also, again, I haven't seen this movie for a while, so I want to see what I think of after we watch it.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Hey.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
What does a brick sound like?
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day, waves
So
what do you think?
It was great. I'm gonna be honest. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm a little lukewarm on Rian Johnson. A lot. Like, he has made some movies that I really, really like, and he's made some movies that I think are pretty mediocre.
Fair.
So, he's kind of hard to get a read on. I didn't really like Looper that much. Obviously, Last Jedi was kind of a thing. Both Knives Out movies were great. Like, I was way into both of them.
I love the Knives Out universe that he is crafting. Knives Out, Glass Onion, and Poker Face.
Yeah. And I have not watched much Breaking Bad. I know he did some episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So, and Poker Face, too.
Yes. Yeah.
I've not really watched much of Poker Face, although people say it's very good.
I like it quite a lot. It's one of the things that, like, I got a Peacock subscription so that I could watch that, and I deactivated after it was done, and I'm considering reactivating it so I can watch the next season.
Did you know that he also did the music video for Woke Up New by the Mountain Goats?
I realized that in my research.
Yeah! All right, cool.
This is a quick spoiler-free review so that, like, you know, if people decided I really need some more convincing before I go watch this movie,
Yeah.
or if they don't want to be spoiled, what do you think?
Yeah, like just a quick rundown, and then we can kind of dig into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, in my opinion. There's a lot of really great color palette work going on. There is some good, if a little bit amateurish, camera work as well. There are some really amazing, fantastic shots.
Yeah, I have to say, some of the shots are amazing.
Yes.
Like, the way some of the scenes are set up, some of the, like, the way that they work with the cameras. I will say, I think the first, like, third of the movie, they were using some, like, more interesting sets.
Yeah.
And so they were setting up more interesting shots. I liked a lot of the, like, going through the back rooms of the school. It looks very noirish, you know. And then they go to that basically mansion, and the shots at the party in the mansion are fantastic. I think later on in the movie, they got a little bit like, we just kind of need to do a shot here in this room.
Yes.
You know, and so there are some that aren't as good, but some of them are fantastic. I love the shot where there's this one character, they're both in a van, and the one character's like sitting menacingly on one side of the van, and then, you know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's just kind of like hunched over looking at him.
He's like standing up, but he's like, his back is like flat against the roof of the van.
It's a great little like shot reverse shot where you know, one side it's all like menacing and genre, and the other side it's just like normal film.
Yeah. You said as we were watching it, and I wholeheartedly agree, they absolutely nail the neo-noir tone.
Yes.
Even if, like, every so often you take a little bit of a step back and think, this is very silly, these are high school students.
Oh no, I think the reason why I think the movie works so well, I'm just gonna say,
Sure.
is that if you hadn't pointed out to me that everybody talks like a noir film, I would have watched probably a good half of this movie and been like, probably wouldn't have noticed it that much. Like, it is very, they are talking, you know, noir. They're like, everyone's got a one syllable nickname, you know, everyone's like,
they use a bunch of slang, like take a powder and dust up and like all that kind of stuff.
But it doesn't feel put on. It doesn't feel unnatural. Nobody's doing like a dumb like gangster accent. I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, no one's doing our mid-Atlantic accent.
No one was doing that. And it worked really well. And then there were a couple of times where the framing sort of broke a little bit.
Sure.
Where there was a moment where, like, you know, the real world that they exist in kind of broke through a little bit.
Yeah.
And they were comedic, but they also kind of helped to, I don't know, sort of maybe ground the situation, you know, that it sort of helped you remember, like, oh yeah, there are cops. There are things that are outside of this little, you know,
this is a bubble
story.
in high school, but these are high school kids at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So that, I think, concludes our spoiler-free review. It's a good movie. You should watch it.
Yes, I would highly recommend it to somebody who really likes that, like, character-driven film. You know, if you like noir, if you like the sort of, like, everybody's messed up gray morality kind of thing. Like, nobody's a good guy, nobody's a bad guy. Everybody's just kind of, you know, caught up in this situation. I think it works really well. And, you know, for the budget, because this was like a micro-budget film.
Micro-budget movie,
you can absolutely tell it works really, really well. Like, there are very few nits to pick. You know, like I said, I think maybe if I had to pick one, I think the first, like, third of the movie is fantastic, and the end of the movie is fantastic, and it's a little slow in the middle, but that's normal. Like, that happens, you know. I think all of the characters are really good. They all fulfill a function. Nobody's in the movie for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has a reason that they're here. Everybody has their own reasons, and a lot of them are working at cross purposes.
Yes, everything works together really well. You know, there's no, at least, you know, obviously we just watched it. There's no thing that I could think of that was just like, hey, that was a huge plot hole. You know,
why did that happen that way?
Mm-hmm. No, I feel like it's really tight. And, you know, the movie's like just a little under 2 hours, but it flies by.
Yeah.
Like, you're really paying attention to it the whole time.
So if you want to watch it spoiler free, that is that. We're going to do a quick rundown of the plot and some of the elements that we really liked real quick. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I discovered while I was researching this.
Cool.
So the main character is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who you probably know from 500 Days of Summer, but I know from Third Rock from the Sun, that old 90s sitcom comedy about aliens pretending to be humans on Earth.
I just think it's really interesting that, one of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like biggest roles, films that people think about now is Looper, which was a Rian Johnson thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat that he worked with Rian Johnson this early.
Yes.
Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt wasn't like a huge star when this movie came out, but he was well known. He had been on Third Rock. He was already like he was already in 10 Things I Hate About You and stuff.
One of my other favorite movies.
Yeah, sure. So he was not nobody.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the actors in this movie, they're all kind of smaller to a certain extent.
Yes.
But they're all similar. They're all like people who did a little bit and then were, in that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Brendan Fry, who is this like antisocial loner kid at school.
Yeah.
And he gets a note from his ex-girlfriend Emily, saying that she wants to call him. So he like goes out. This is very 2005. So if you are a Gen Z kid listening to this or a Gen Alpha kid listening to this, God, wow, that's would be weird. Anyway, there used to be a place where you could go to make a phone call if you didn't have a cell phone. It was called a payphone. It was just a box out in the wild, and you stood in it and made a call.
And not only that, but payphones had a number. So if you knew the number for a particular payphone, someone could hang out there and you could call it.
You could call that payphone and someone would pick up.
Yeah.
Could potentially pick up if they were there.
That part, I didn't know. Like, I knew all about payphones growing up except for that part. Like, because I'd always heard, like, people, you can, answering payphones in movies. And I'm like, how would you get the number? Who calls this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the payphone themselves like has the number on it if you like someone needs to call that particular payphone for some reason.
I guess.
I feel like I remember that from when I was a very small child. I have never used a payphone because when I was small, and they were around, I always had an adult with me.
Yeah.
I was not just out wandering the streets alone. And then by the time that payphones stopped being a thing, I already had a cell phone. So
yeah, this is an interesting 2005, the year that this movie takes place in, is such an interesting time because there are still payphones, but also a cell phone is a big part of the plot.
Yeah.
So that both of those things exist.
Yeah.
And also it's like a flip phone.
It's not there are no iPhones. iPhones have not been existed yet, or not invented yet.
Yeah.
It is a flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even it's not even the character's flip phone. It's his mom's flip phone that he has to steal for a while.
Yeah, none of the kids have cell phones as far as we can tell.
That could have been more of a choice to make it feel more noir.
Sure.
But also, none of the kids have phones as far as we can tell.
Yeah, this was a time period when not everybody did have a phone. In fact, very few people did.
Yeah, I didn't get my first phone until 2007. No? Oh my God, I just forgot what year my mom died. You have to cut this whole bit. You can't have this in there. No, it was 2004. 2004 is when I got my first cell phone. But my dad needed to keep track of us because he didn't have another parent at that point.
I got my first cell phone around 2004 as well, but it was like I was inheriting my parents' old phone, which was like a tiny little Nokia brick phone.
Yeah. My first one was a Nokia brick too.
Yeah. And boy,
actually no, I think my first one was like a Samsung brick phone. It wasn't even a Nokia, but man, that thing, whoa.
Yeah.
It took a beating. It flew out of my pocket multiple times. Anyway, we are on a tangent about cell phones.
I made 3 calls on it and mostly played Centipede.
Yeah. So Brendan goes here to this payphone. He gets a call from his ex, Emily, and she is clearly very scared about something. And she says a bunch of words that he doesn't understand, and then she sees something and freaks out and runs away.
Yes.
And so Brendan has decided that he has to help her however he can.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of in a noir sort of thing.
Yeah.
People wouldn't be able to find each other because they're in New York City and no one has a phone, no one has a phone, no one has a home phone. Yeah, it's the 30s. So they would know where my office is, or they would know where I live or whatever. But no, he says if you see her, she knows where I eat lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And we also get the first clue in this scene because she mentions that she can see him answering this payphone. So we know she's around, and then a car drives by. and she freaks out seeing the car driving by, and then flicking out of the window is a cigarette.
A cigarette with a blue arrow on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a specific brand of cigarette, and that is the first clue, and that clue goes all the way to the end of the movie.
It pays off all the way down.
It's pretty wild.
So Brendan decides that he is at least going to figure out what the heck is going on. We find out at the end of the movie they broke up roughly 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's been not any time at all, but it feels like years.
It feels like they had been in love for a really long time, and then something happened and they broke up, and it has been like at least a year. No, it's been 3 months.
Sorry.
I was going to say, which like kind of works with a lot of teenagers, with all of like the heightened emotions of teenagers.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this with the Twilight episode, where it's like when you're a teenager, like everything feels so present and so important right now, and that's a real feeling, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but like it plays really well in this film that like it happened a couple of months ago, and it feels like, you know, this really serious like long time thing.
Yeah. So Brendan starts like walking around and talking to people and trying to figure out what Emily was afraid of and what is going on. And I don't want to get like all the way down to the nitty gritty of like he goes to this person and says this, because like we'll be here all night talking. Just watch the movie; it's really good. I promise, it's really good.
But he meets a cast of characters.
Yeah, a fantastic cast of characters. So I'm gonna run through some of the people really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Brendan. He was in Looper, Inception, 10 Things I Hate About You. Yeah, we can skip all of that. Oh, although I did find out he was the voice of the hourly dong in Glass Onion.
Cool.
Yeah. It was very funny to me that he just had like a voice acting credit on Glass Onion.
All right.
So one of the other people he meets is Laura, who she's like kind of, they call her like an upper crust type. It's implied that she is wealthy and has connections in town. She's another high school student, of course.
Yeah.
But she's in like with the popular crowd. She's dating the star quarterback, or allegedly star quarterback.
She's
Brad
dating
Baramish.
a football player.
She's dating a football player, Brad Baramish.
Mm-hmm.
She's played by Nora Zetner. Most recent thing that she was in was this year. She was in Grosse Pointe Garden Society, which is a show that I want to watch because it is also like a weird crime drama thing.
Yeah, the only thing I recognized her from, kind of... Oh, yeah, she was in the, like, Disney Plus reboot of The Right Stuff.
Yeah.
She was John Glenn's wife.
John Glenn's wife, yeah. And she was also in another TV show called The Astronauts' Wives Club, so she's played an astronaut wife at least twice.
Oh, no, she's getting typecast as an astronaut's wife.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many of those.
Yeah.
Like, that's a hard job.
She was also in Mad Men and Designated Survivor, and apparently 10 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, which I have seen the season that she was in, but I don't remember. But then again, so much stuff happens in Grey's Anatomy, it's impossible to remember any goddamn thing.
So much, and also not anything.
And not anything. Yeah, so Laura is... She's someone who's like constantly orbiting around Brendan, and like she presents herself as wanting to help him.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that she has some amount of a crush on him.
Mm-hmm.
She says something along the lines of like, I see the way that you loved her so much, like she was the only thing that existed, and I don't think anybody's ever loved me like that.
Yeah. This is like a classic like noir character, you know.
Yes, she is the femme fatale in this situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think one of the cool things that I kind of want to point out as we go through these characters is how all of them absolutely mirror a like noir archetype character, you know? Yeah, she's absolutely like kind of the femme fatale, kind of the like, you know, the gal that, you know, the hard-boiled detective who's the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character kind of like keeps running into, and she seems involved, but we don't know how, you know, but she's like got a thing for him, and they kind of play this like cat and mouse thing throughout the whole movie. That's a classic bit. It fits really well. Yes.
She is constantly flirting with him, and he is very much like, stop it, go away.
Yeah.
So one of the other people that helps out Brendan is this character called the Brain.
Yeah.
We don't know what his actual name is because he's constantly just called the Brain, and he's like He would be like a street level, like eyes on the street kind of like not informant really, but like the kind of person who's just like always around and knows who everybody is talking to, where everybody sits at lunch.
There's got to be a guy who has the story.
Yeah.
You know, you go to him and you're like, you know, tell me what the news is. And that guy's like, I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah. In like a noir, this character probably would have been like a newspaper journalist or
something like that. Yeah. He's got the inside scoop.
He is played by Matt O'Leary, and most people would probably remember him from Spy Kids as Gary Giggles, and also in the Disney Channel original movie Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was in Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Okay.
But he was also in several other movies, and he was most recently in about 5 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so he's been acting pretty consistently.
Yeah, I saw that Nora Zettner was also in a couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, yeah. They do kind of like that shorthand for being smart, where like when you first see him, he's like playing with a Rubik's Cube.
Yep.
And he like tosses it to Brendan, and Brendan messes it up and throws it back to him, and they're talking, and then like the next time you see it, it's solved again.
Yeah, and you know, he's got thick glasses, like he's got that classic like nerd, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's his mom's phone. He's always at school. We never see him anywhere else. He is always at school or he is on the phone.
Honestly, all the way the characters look, like the costuming and the makeup, it's like really, really good.
Yes.
Every single one of them has like a shorthand for what role this character is playing in the movie, like who they are.
Yeah.
And not only is it shorthand, but it also always kind of references like the archetype of the character that they are too. It's really well done. It's actually like there's some sophistication to that I you know, not a lot of first-time filmmakers have.
Yeah.
So kudos, Ryan.
So one of the other people is there's this character named Dode, who is like a burnout kind of character.
Yeah, he's kind of dressed like a punk. Like he's got like the punk rock kind of look.
We first meet him and he's hanging out like the alleyway behind a cafe by like some dumpsters, and there's like a bunch of like high kids around him.
Some like stoners.
Yeah. And he is kind of like he's like street level scum sort of guy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. He might be a bit player, but it's a small bit that he is playing in like the general crime of a neo-noir sort of thing.
Yeah.
But Dode had connections to Emily, Brendan's girlfriend.
Yeah.
They were together at some point.
Yeah,
possibly.
At first it is implied that they're friends because like they see each other and they hug, but they don't kiss. And they kind of mention how good of friends they are, but then later on they sort of imply that they had a relationship.
Yeah, it's weird because Emily just describes him as a friend.
Yeah.
And not like we're together, although she might have been trying to protect Dode from Brennan because Brennan might have gone off on him if he knew that they were together. So
Possible.
So he's played by Noah Segan. He's been working pretty consistently. Notably, he was Daryl in Glass Onion, the guy who just hangs out and gets high.
Yeah. Great role. He was also in Knives Out.
He was also in Knives Out, yeah.
He was in Star Wars Last Jedi. He just like he was in Looper. He keeps working with Ryan Johnson.
He keeps working with Ryan Johnson,
like,
yeah.
He's sort of like a Ryan Johnson, like kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? You know, he's in the orbit.
If you used to watch NCIS, as I also used to watch NCIS, if you remember the episode where there was like the psychopathic sniper who shot the first brunette girl before they got the second brunette girl, he was that guy.
I guess. And he was also in the Breaking Bad episode, one of the ones that Ryan Johnson directed.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Also, he's apparently in a movie that we need to watch called The Pale Door, and the synopsis for this is: after a train robbery goes bad, 2 brothers leading a gang of cowboys must survive the night in a ghost town inhabited by a coven of witches.
Yeah, that does... I love it when a movie sounds like they were like looking at both of us directly in the eyes and we're like,
So far up my alley.
Yeah, for real. So Emily,
yeah,
she's played by somebody also named Emily.
Yeah, Emily DeRaven. So she was, if you watched Lost, she was Claire, the pregnant girl on Lost.
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even. Oh wow.
Oh, and also she was Belle in Once Upon a Time.
Oh god, we went from a good show. No, actually, sorry, they're both bad shows. Lost was good for a season.
Once Upon a Time had a similar problem where it was good for like a season or 2. But yeah, so she is kind of like a little bit of the driving force because Brennan is trying to figure out what's going on with her. And again, we are in spoiler territory here.
Yeah.
She dies, and so he is trying to find out who killed her.
Yes. And in fact, the very first shot of the movie is her dead. And so, like, you kind of know that's going to happen at some point in the story, and the story sort of then kind of goes before that and then continues after that.
Yes.
It's kind of a nice little, like, pin right in the middle of it.
One of the other characters that he talks to is named Kara. She is played by an actress named Megan Good, who has been in a bunch of stuff. She's been very consistently working. She is in a TV show currently called Harlem. She plays Camille Parks, if you know that. She, in this movie, her function is like being a pseudo, like, madam of a brothel almost, or like the owner of a burlesque show.
I was about to say burlesque dancer, which is,
Yeah.
again, a classic noir archetype. Is you always have the dancer, the flapper girl or whatever.
Yeah.
You always go to the club, the speakeasy, and you go in the back room, and they also have a history. Kara and Brendan apparently dated for a minute,
Yes.
And again, like, they make it seem like it lasted a certain amount of time, but like, if you go by the sort of like timeline of the actual movie, it must have been like a month. It was literally no time at all.
Yeah, he kind of implies that she, like, burns through boys really quickly.
Yep.
She's in charge for some amount of, like, the drama department, so she's always hanging around, like, the school's theater.
Yes.
And the first 3 times he shows up and, like, talks to her, the first thing out of her mouth is, "Are you here for the show?"
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's always in a different costume.
Yes.
So like when we first see her, what does she look like the first time? She looks.
You don't really see because, like,
she's kind of normal.
Yeah,
that
she's
time.
just like she's mostly shot from, like, the neck
Yeah.
up. But
then
like, she's
later
just
on-
hanging out in the theater.
Yeah, but later on you see her, like, in a ballet dress, and then she's in, like, a mime outfit, like, with the little bowler cap.
Yeah.
And then
She's got kabuki makeup
the
for some
last
reason.
time we
Yeah.
see her, she's got, like, kabuki makeup on, which is, like, really weird. And
Yeah.
it's like, what?
What are you doing here? Also, a couple of times there's just, like, a freshman, like, at her knees.
Literally, like, at her feet.
Yeah.
Literally, like, it's weird because they're always out of the shot, and then she'll say, like, "Oh, sweetheart, go get my purse," and then they'll get up and
Run off.
run off. It's wild.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing. Next we have Lucas Haas, who is playing the Pin. Also, like, he is the kingpin. He is kind of like the head of a bunch of crime, allegedly, in this Northern California town.
And he's so old. He's 26.
So old, he's 26.
Yeah, because everyone else is canonically, like, a high school student. So he's 26 and old, and he, like, walks with a cane. you know?
Well, he's got a club foot.
Yes, he's got. Yeah, I just realized that he was the Amish boy in Witness, the movie with Harrison Ford.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That was like the number one thing that I recognize him from.
Yeah.
But he was also in Inception and, like, The Revenant and a bunch of stuff. Like, he's. Oh, and apparently he's gonna be in the Spider Noir series, which is a spin-off of the Spider-Verse.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, that's awesome. So he's like a drug dealer.
Yes.
So a lot of the plot focuses on a brick of heroin that was stolen.
Hence the name of the movie.
The name of the movie that was stolen and then brought back, but it came back and it was cut with something that is
It was
very
like
bad.
a toxic cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a kid who took a dose of it after it came back, and he landed in the hospital in a coma.
Yes.
He is trying. So the Pin is trying to figure out what happened to his brick, who has it, why they were doing what they were doing, and also, like, he's running a bunch of drugs on the streets. So he's like, he just wants shit to run that it's the way that it's supposed to, so that he can make money.
Yes.
There are a lot of shots of, like, him being in his house. And it is very, like, this was 2005, but it feels very 90s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, okay, the 90s being nostalgic for the 70s.
Yes.
Like, lots of browns and oranges and, like, amber glass and, like, that kind of stuff.
I love the Pin's basement, like,
Yeah.
meeting room where, like, all of his guys are outside of. It's that, like, 70s wood panel walls.
Yeah. Orange shag carpet.
Uh-huh.
There's one amber glass hanging from the ceiling to provide light for the whole room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really good.
And then working with him is a character called Tug.
Tug's the muscle.
Tug is the muscle. Yeah.
And so, you get this great, like, he's the kingpin. He's older, but, he's 26, but, and he's walking around with a cane, so he's got this, like, old-fashioned, like, crime boss sort of look. And then Tug is his, like, meathead, like... Yeah.
He's like just always in like long baggy jeans and then a white tank top and like that's and a white beanie. That's all that he
with
wears.
Like one little shitty bit of hair always sticking out.
Stupid shitty bit of hair sticking out.
Yeah. And he drives this like sports car, this like 70s like muscle car.
Yeah.
Being
the muscle, Tug is very prone to just hitting problems until they go away.
Yes.
And he does it a lot, and mostly to our main character Brendan, who gets hit in the face so many times, and hit in the face and body, frankly, so many times, that he like starts being very unwell. There's like towards the end of the movie, he's like constantly coughing, and he definitely needs to go to a hospital.
Mm-hmm. What's really interesting is that like we see Brendan like rough some people up. Like he's a fighter. Like he's really good at kicking ass. Like he kicks the football player guy's ass.
Yeah.
And he kicks Dode's ass. And he like is able to fight off a guy with a knife at a certain point. Like he's a badass in a lot of ways, but Tug is like muscle. He's kicking his ass.
This is what he does. This is what he does all day long.
Yeah.
Is hit people until they give him money and or information.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk really quickly about the scene where he fights off the dude with the knife. So this is probably about halfway through the movie. Brennan, our main character, has at this point ruffled quite a lot of feathers.
Yes.
He has made a deal with the pin where either he is going to work for him or the pin is going to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he wants information from the pin.
Yes.
And so he's just like at school and he turns around and there's a guy walking towards him menacingly, and then that guy pulls a knife out and he like runs away, obviously.
Yeah.
There is really good sound work in this where you can just hear the footsteps of them running from each other.
Yes.
There's this just really great bit where he's like turning a corner and like the only thing they're hearing are like his footsteps. And as he turns the corner, like the beat slows down and then speeds way back up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like running all across this school campus trying to get away from this guy. And then finally he like turns a corner. He's got a pretty good lead on him, turns a corner, takes his shoes
Pulls
off.
his shoes off.
And then runs over and sticks his leg out and trips the guy, and the guy like goes flying forward, and you literally hear a bell ring as he whacks his head on a pole.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that like it's a scene that I think about all of the time. Like it is burned deep into my brain, and it's so good. I love it.
So, Brendan is shaking up the school. He's talking to everybody. He's trying to get a read on what's happened to Emily.
Yes.
In doing so, he kind of makes enemies with the football player guy, Brad.
Yeah, Brad Bramish, played by Brian White.
Mm-hmm.
Again, who has been in several things. Ambition, Stomp the Yard, Family Stone, Ray Donovan.
Yeah, he had a bit part in Cabin in the Woods.
Apparently, he was in 4 episodes of Criminal Minds.
Hey, there you go. But anyway, so he kicks that guy's ass. In doing all of this, he essentially gets a message back to M for them to meet. He also kicks Dode's ass, and Dode like connects with her as well. So they meet, and Emily's like, "Leave me alone. You don't want to get into this."
Yeah, it was a mistake for me to contact you the first time. You can't save me. All you ever wanted to do was keep me in a cage. I don't want you in this.
Yeah. Again, this is a classic like noir like trope. Is the you get the help, like, oh, I want you to investigate this, and then the guy investigates it, and then it's like, actually, no, get out, it's too hot. You'll
only get hurt if you're here.
You'll only get hurt if you get into this. Yeah, that's classic. And Emily is kind of playing that classic, like, the damsel sort of character who asks for help at the beginning, and then a lot of times they die. Like that's kind of what happens in the stories.
That's a lot of the inciting incidents for these kinds of stories is that a woman has died, and now the male protagonist who cared about her in some way has to figure out why. Hard-boiled detective has to figure out why.
Yeah, absolutely. So she goes away, and Brendan he's like, I gotta figure this out. I have to figure out why she's so scared. What's she getting into?
Yeah. So he finds out from Kara, he finds out by rifling through Kara's stuff that there's some sort of party that he found a part of an invitation to in Emily's stuff.
Yes.
And so he goes He like calls the number and gets the information, goes to the party. It's this party in this weird giant mansion that is being thrown by Laura.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you this really quickly. So a lot of the this whole movie was shot on location in like this one small California town in 20 days. All of these locations were just around town.
Yes.
And when they were trying to source the location for the mansion party, they were having a really hard time doing it. And I need you to know, I read this next bit on Wikipedia and I couldn't find the source for it. So I don't know why it was unsourced on Wikipedia, but it's unsourced. If the source for this is in like the DVD commentary, I simply have not listened to that.
Fair enough.
But according to Wikipedia, they somehow got into contact with a former telecom executive and eccentric millionaire who allowed them to use his home that was under construction and packed with old payphones. So they had to move a bunch of old payphones out before they could stage this party. Again, I don't have a source for that unless it's in the DVD commentary.
And that's like weirdly ironic because payphones are so important to this movie.
Payphones are so important to this movie.
Did they use those payphones? Like,
I don't think so. No.
I mean, I guess there still would have been some.
There still would have been payphones
in the world, but that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's true because that's such a cool.
I know, right? So, like this. Again, it's just like this. Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Johnson did not have any connections. Like, I need to know how they got in contact with this guy. Like, who convinced him to let them use his unfinished mansion that was currently under construction? And like, I need so much more to the story, and I can't find anything about it. And I'm a little bit sad. But yeah, he goes to this party. He gets in contact with Laura, and she's very much like, I want in on whatever you're doing. And he's like, no. But there are a couple of really great shots as he's walking up where behind him in the darkness, you see a match light and someone starts smoking a cigarette. But like they're so deep in darkness, the only thing that you can see is the match.
Yes. That, and again, a classic like noir thing is like, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's listening in. You don't know who's just some random passerby or who's involved. It's like classic, like right into that stuff. And Laura is she's got kind of the like it's a classic thing in the noir where you walk into the club and there's a jazz singer. She's like sitting there singing at the party on the piano, and he like watches her, and that's like such a classic scene in a noir film.
I just noticed this time around, but when he first walks into a party, there's just a girl walking past pulling a cooler on wheels, and like it's just such a weird discordant thing.
It really kind of pulls it out, but it's really good.
It's so good. So he gets some information. He decides that he's going to beat up Brad Bramish to try and like get closer to the pin because he thinks the pin has the information that he wants about what happened to M.
Yeah.
He does. He beats up Brad Bramish, and oh gosh, there's so much that happens in this movie.
Yeah. It doesn't feel too fast though. Like it sounds like we're describing a lot, but everything flows very naturally.
It does, yes.
And in kind of the style that it's sort of trying to emulate. It's this classic like out of the frying pan into the fire kind of thing. Where it's like every time you think, oh, we got this thing figured out, somebody comes up and there's a problem, and then something else happens. Like it flows very well from scene to scene, and there are some like red herrings, and they're interesting how they follow. And the characters talk to each other about what's happening in the movie. So even though it's kind of confusing, like you can follow it, which I wish more films did now.
Yeah.
It's like I understand you want to show and not tell, but sometimes you like want like the plot to make sense.
Well, so that's another thing that I really appreciate with this movie is that like the characters do talk about the plot of the movie, but they're not like they're talking to each other looking for information that character does not have. It's not like anybody is going, as blah 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 blah, where they're like just exposition dumping. Every question that someone asks makes sense for why that character would be asking it in context, but it also then either reiterates or gives new information to the audience.
It typically is giving you new information, which I like. It's helping you fill in the gaps and connect the dots in the story. Because Hard-Boiled Detective, like, it's not a mystery in the classic sense. It's not a whodunit where you're like trying to figure out who's behind it. It's more of like you're sort of following the story that the character goes along.
Yeah.
But you want it to make logical sense. You want there to be a little bit of a mystery that you're sort of following, him solving. And it does. It does a great job.
Yeah. So he's talking to people. He's trying to get information, trying to get closer to the pin. So he does get a bunch of information about this brick of heroin. And there's a lot of stuff going on with the brick of heroin that he has to get information about. But ultimately, his goal is always figure out what happened to Emily.
Yes.
And he does eventually figure out what happened to Emily. It turns out that Emily was pregnant, and she told 2 people about it, and told 3 people, but she told 2 different guys that they are the father of her child.
Yes.
And one of those guys took it very badly.
Yes.
And killed her because of it.
Mm-hmm. We should say it is Tug.
Tug, yeah.
The muscle for the pin. He has a tendency to just go off violently. We see it a few times in the film, and it makes sense with his character.
Yes.
But Dode, one of the other guys that she told that it was his, he sees Brendan hide her body.
Yeah, Brendan comes upon her dead body in like a storm drain.
Yes.
And he wants more time to figure out what happened to her.
Yeah.
So he hides her body so that he can get, because if anybody finds her, the cops are going to come in and then he's never going to get answers.
Yes.
Is his logic in this.
Mm-hmm.
In the real world, hey, if you find a body, call the cops.
Yeah. But Dode sees him doing this.
Dode sees him doing that,
and
yeah.
assumes that he killed her.
Because he only saw him move her body. He did
Yeah.
not. He didn't show up any time before that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, so there's the shot where he is pulling her into the storm drain, and he hears like footsteps in the storm drain, and so he then runs into a dark tunnel.
Yeah.
And immediately gets hit in the head.
Yeah, because you can't see shit.
You can't see shit. Yeah, and you're framed behind you by light, so that person can see you coming a little bit at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it turns out that Tug killed Emily because he thought that she was pregnant. It was his kid.
Yeah, and that she was not going to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he just has this line where he's like, it's a hell of a thing to drop on a guy. I want to talk really quickly. So there's this scene where Tug, the Pin, Dode, and Brennan are all going to like talk together because Dode says that he has information for the Pin about Emily.
Yes.
And so at this point, Dode thinks that Brendan has killed Emily, but Brendan doesn't know who has killed Emily, and Tug has killed Emily, and he knows that he has killed Emily.
Yeah.
And so there's this conversation that they're having where Dode is saying to the Pin, you're going to want to know this information that I have because who killed Emily is very close to you.
Yes.
And there's just such good tension in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good the first time you watch it, and it's so good the second time you watch it because you know what all of those characters know now.
It is dramatic irony.
Yeah.
And where it's like, you know, you're watching the scene thinking, because you know that Dode is going to say that it's Brendan, but it's also kind of a twist, kind of a surprise, because we don't know that it was Tug.
Yeah.
And so he, jumps in and, like, kills Dode to stop him from talking.
Because he thinks that Dode knows that it's him.
It's him,
yeah.
exactly. And it's a really interesting scene. The plotting there is really tight. Like, it's really well done.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to go that direction at that point in the movie.
Yeah.
It's very seldom that I watch a movie and I don't know where the plot is going, and this happened several times in this film, which I gotta give it kudos to.
Yeah.
Even knowing, like, the tropes of this genre of film, like, it still threw me a few times, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So after this, Brendan collapses because he's got so much blood in his lungs.
He's been, like, knocked out by 3 different people. He's, like, bleeding internally. Like, he's a mess.
Boy needs to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he knocks out, and Tug takes him. And this is where Tug reveals that he thought that Emily's baby was his, and that he snapped when she told him.
Yeah.
And so it turns out that, like, because he killed Dode, like, the Pin is now very suspicious of him, including there's some other stuff that we don't find out about until, like, later. Mm-hmm. Like, there's some other stuff going on between the Pin and Tug, but everybody's concerned that, like, they're
going to go
people
to war.
And the Pin's people are going to go to war.
Yeah.
Because, like, Tug does muscle for the Pin, but apparently he's also running his own shit on the side also. Because he's got, like, a bunch of other dudes with him, too.
Well, I didn't see it that way. I just think that he's got guys who are loyal to him.
Oh, okay, fair,
because they're, like, muscle with him.
Yeah.
You know, and there are all these just like white boys in white t-shirts. You know, it's really funny.
Brendan is at his house, and at one point he like walks past the den, and there's just like a dozen white dudes in white tank tops and blue jeans. But he gets them to essentially agree to sit down and talk to each other. Yeah. And like try to come to some sort of truce. And so they like lay out their terms, and one of the terms is that the pin wants he wants the brick back. Yeah. But he needs someone to take a dose off of it to make sure that it wasn't cut bad also. Yes. Because he's planning on selling that. And so he tries to get Tug to take a dose off of it. And Tug's like, I don't do heroin. What are you talking about? And Brendan's like, I'll do the dose. I just want this all to be done. I've already got the information that we need. And also he's set it up. The cops are coming to this house. Yep. Because this is a kingpin drug house. Yep. So he's told Brain at 4:15 to call the cops and let them know that there is a bunch of drugs at this house. Mm-hmm. So he needs to get out of there. So he's like, I'll do the dose. So we hear some people say, hey, the brick is gone. And then there's just fighting. There's this amazing shot where there's just like all sorts of thumps and grunts as like the camera pans across the ceiling of this room and then back down to the door where someone comes in who has been shot and is bleeding. Yeah. And then just chaos and violence. Yeah. It's a great little moment. And then he grabs the gun. Brendan grabs the gun, grabs Tug's gun. And then Tug and the pin start fighting on the ground. The Tug is winning that fight. Oh, he is beating the shit out of him. The lights smash so the room is pitch black. And Brendan leaves with the gun, and then he drops the gun and pushes it on the floor into the dark room, and then he runs away. Yeah. You know, it's this classic, like, oh, I have to leave this gun, and whatever happens, I have to go. I can't be anywhere near here. Mm-hmm. So there's another really great shot where he's like running through the other room in the basement that is pitch dark, and he has been in here before and like knows where the window is. And so it's just like this pitch dark room, and like all you see is like flashes of other bodies as he runs through them, and then he like jumps through the window and out. Yeah. And he like gets out of there. So he is currently clean. A bunch of people get arrested, and Tug has a shootout with the cops and is shot by the cops. Yes. So all of this happens. Like, this is the climax of the film. He goes back to the school, and he talks to Brain. Yeah. And it seems like everything's kind of tied up. It's like, oh yeah, the guy who tried to kill you with the knife, he was just working for Brad. It wasn't involved in this. Everyone spilled the beans on what happened with Emily, because Emily's body is in the trunk of Tug's car. Yeah. Because Brendan put it there because he knew at this point that Tug had done it. Yep. You know, so he was pinning it on him because he did it. Because he did it. He was pinning it on him because he did it. He did it. You know, and so all of this stuff is happening. Brendan's kind of got most of this figured out, and you think, oh, this is kind of all wrapped up. Then we have the scene where he talks to Laura. And Laura is like, hey, don't go to this thing. Don't go to this shootout because stuff's going to go down. And he does it anyway, but then tells her, no, I didn't do it. I didn't go, yeah. And she's like, oh, well, did you hear what happened? He's like, no. So she describes what happens. And then he kind of is like, well, all right, but I think you were involved too. Yeah. She tries to kiss him. She's like, it's finally done. And she tries to kiss him. And he's like, no, it's not done yet. And then he says, it was you. You put her there. And she's like, what are you talking about? And so Brendan lays out that he thinks that, so Emily was hanging out with Laura and Brad. She got into drugs. Yes. And then she got pregnant. Laura wants to be basically in closer with the pin or just make money off of him. Yeah. So she stole the brick and then took part of it either to use herself or to sell to make money and then cut it back bad. Yeah. And then pinned that on M to try and take the blame off of herself. Yes. And she was the one who like told M basically what to do and where to go. She set M up to take all of this. And she was going to drive Emily to the abortion clinic to, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So she kind of set up everything. It didn't seem like she did it maliciously, but except for the part where she told M to tell Tug that it was his baby because she knows who Tug is. Although she argues, and you can interpret it however you want.
I think the movie is good with this.
Yeah.
She argues that she thought it would soften him up.
Yeah.
She thought that maybe he would like chill out about it if Emily told him about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. Maybe she's lying. We're not really sure.
It's difficult to tell.
You can read it either way. Like I said, I think all the characters in this movie are great. They're all very, like, you know, nobody is a straight up good guy or bad guy. Like, everybody's doing shady shit, doing illegal bad things, but, like, nobody, you know, like, we're still kind of rooting for them at points here and there. It's all very interesting.
Yes.
But Brendan figures that all out. And basically is just like, you know, I told the cops, I told the vice principal of the school that you stole the brick. You're behind all this. And she kind of denies it. And he's just like, nope, you definitely did it. And then he's like, starts to walk away. And she's like, well, you got most of it right.
Yeah.
There's like one last thing. And she spills to him that Emily has been pregnant for 3 months.
Which would make the baby not Tug's or Dode's.
But his.
Yes.
Which, you know, is just this, like, little, like, knife twist. And, you know, you get the idea that Brendan maybe already knew this, but, like...
Or at least suspected a little
bit. But, yeah, it's this nice little knife twist at the end. And then she walks away.
She whispers something in his ear and, like...
very lost in translation.
It's very lost in translation, yeah. But, like, the first thing that she says is mother, and then the rest is, like too quiet for the audience to hear. And so Brain asks, what did she say? And he's like, she called me a dirty word.
Yeah.
I want to say really quickly, right at the end, there are a bunch of shots where Laura and Brennan are talking to each other.
Yeah.
And they're very close shots. And it turns out they had to do reshoots for that scene. So when they went back several months later, the grass was all a different color. Mm-hmm. So they had to shoot them very close and tight up so that they didn't see the anomaly of, like, the grass being different.
Well, you know, it works pretty well because that scene is very, like, whispered. In fact...
Yes.
If I had one negative, we talk about the sound a little bit here. The music is really interesting. It's done by Nathan Johnson,
who is Ryan Johnson's cousin.
Yep, and he's actually done a bunch of the composing and the scores for other Ryan Johnson movies. He did Looper.
Yes.
He did Knives Out. He did Glass Onion. He's done a bunch of stuff. Anyway, the music is all very interesting. It fits really well. It's very spare and minimalist. You know, there's a lot of parts of this movie where there's no music. There's just, like, background noise.
Yeah.
Which gives you a very, like, realistic feel. A lot of, like, car noise in the background. You know, I'm not sure if that was, avoidable because it was shot a lot just, like, in California.
Yes.
You know, and there's just cars and driving everywhere. But I will say, if I had one, and this isn't Nathan, this is whoever sound edited or whatever, like, some of the characters are, like, whispering, and you just cannot hear what they're saying, and specifically Laura's got that problem. She speaks so softly sometimes. Yeah. We were watching with subtitles, so it was kind of easy to see.
When we started, I said you have to put subtitles on. If you watch this movie, you have to watch it with subtitles, even if you don't usually watch it with subtitles. Because they talk pretty quickly, and a lot of it is in 1930s gangster patter, so sometimes it can be difficult to catch what they're saying or, like, what the slang is. But also, yes, there are a lot of things where, like, you know, Emily and Laura are very soft talkers, and so you're going to miss things if you don't have the subtitles on. Yeah,
that's a minor negative. The intimacy of that scene where they're just really close up, it works in that case.
Yes. So two last quick little things specifically with the cast. There was one of the stoners behind the cafe, Coffee and Pie Oh My.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, I think I know that guy. And I don't know if this is exactly that guy, but I'm pretty sure it is. If it's the same one, the actor was also in School of Rock as Spider, the annoying guy who replaced the main character in the band that got him kicked out.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that guy.
Yeah.
He's not somebody I, like, know very well, but the face was familiar.
Yeah, you looked at it and it's like, hey, that guy. And then another really quick thing. So the vice principal of the school.
Oh, yeah.
Is Richard Roundtree. Goddamn Shaft is in this movie.
Shut your mouth.
Okay.
You don't know how to do the...
No.
It's fine.
Of course I don't, Donovan. But yeah, I just really liked that little bit.
Yeah,
the VP is kind of acting like in the place of, in like an actual noir kind of thing, he would be like the cop or like the captain of the police or whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of playing that role. And also, you know, I'll say, you know, Shaft was big in the blaxploitation genre.
Yeah.
And blaxploitation was hugely influenced by noir.
Yes.
Like, you know, it was, you know, those kind of crime films and stuff like that. Like, he was an excellent choice for that role.
Yeah.
It was a cool little moment to kind of see him there. And I was just like,
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in tons of stuff, too, like, aside from that. Shaft is just what he's most well known for.
Yes. But yeah, all in all, this is a really good movie. I love it so much. I'm so glad that you also like it.
Yeah, and I will just say, like, I had no idea what to expect. I'd never heard anything about this movie, and that's not normally a good thing. Like, normally if somebody says, hey, watch this movie you've never heard of, it's usually like, oh, why haven't I heard of this?
Yeah.
But that was great. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
And I'm also glad that your PlayStation didn't eat my DVD this time. When we were first doing this, I asked if we could play it on my PlayStation 2 because it has a DVD player in it, and we hooked it up, but like the color balance was off for some reason.
Yeah,
the
and
connection
was
just bad.
It was not good. Yeah.
And the last time we tried to use his PS5 to watch a DVD, it ate the DVD.
Yeah.
And that wasn't quite as big a problem because it was My Last Unicorn, which if you listen to that episode, you know why. If not, go back and listen to that.
It was the janky,
yeah, it was
like,
a janky
shitty
DVD.
copy of Last Unicorn.
But like this is a DVD from like 2006, I think.
Yeah.
So like I was really nervous about putting it in and it not spitting it back out and us having to again pull it out with tweezers. But yeah, watch this movie however you can. Highly recommend. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like crime stuff or detective stuff or anything like that.
I honestly, look, this is not necessarily going to sound like a compliment, but it absolutely is. This is a movie that people who make movies would like.
Yes.
This is the kind of movie that, like, if you're a normal film goer, like, you it might not make sense to you, but if you're somebody who's, like, in any way interested in, like, the craft of filmmaking or, like, directors and cinematography, it's really interesting to watch through that lens because it's a now big name director's like first time out, and it's such a like passion project. You can tell that he was like pouring a lot of himself into this.
Yeah.
It was filmed at his damn high school.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can really tell. I just really liked it.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah. Hannah,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you for sharing something very cool with me. You know, Last Unicorn, I've been wanting to watch for a long time. Terry Pratchett, I'd been wanting to read for a long time. So, you know, like, you kind of just gave me an excuse to kind of get into those things. Twilight's terrible. I'm still mad at you for that. This, I'm just, like, excited. I was just like, wow, thank you, Hannah, for showing me a cool movie.
Yeah, you're
So-
welcome. Hopefully I can find more cool movies that I have seen and you have not seen in the future to make up for the rest of the Twilight books that I'm going to force you to listen to.
Well, I'm doing the James Bond stuff to you, so it's kind of even.
Yeah, fair. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks so much again, and go watch Brick. That's good.
Go watch Brick. It's really good.
All right. Bye.
Toodles. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.